So it was a tough time, but we used that time of having to change our perspective to really think about what we were going to do to preserve that legacy. And so one of the biggest projects that we're currently working on, and part of the reason that I've gotten to know you, is our oral history initiative. So we've recognized that the stories of Woodstock, and Woodstock is not one story, but 450,000 individual stories, we realize those are a finite resource, and we are uniquely positioned to be the one to collect them.
Lisa Lohr is an accomplished photographer, writer, filmmaker, and icon of the 1960s. She is best known for her photographic chronicles of the counterculture of that time. Positive Spin was invited to Lisa Lohr's home in Santa Fe, New Mexico for an intimate interview concerning the key roles she played in the Woodstock Festival.
So what does peace mean to you, or why is it important?
Peace. What does peace mean to me? I mean, I think if I could sum it up in one word, I would say love. Peace is just it's love. It's something that we can all go around and feel safe and be content, and be happy with our lives, and help one another.
Today, as we celebrate Positive Spin's 25th anniversary, I would like to share my personal story leading up to the creation of Positive Spin in 1997. From attending the Woodstock Festival, creating Unity Foundation, to becoming a major concert and event producer. I invite everyone to join me in my travel down memory lane to Positive Spin's 25th anniversary. The Woodstock Festival in 1969 was a monumental gathering of more than 400,000 people and a defining moment in history. However, the festival did not really take place in Woodstock. When the promoters' permits were denied a few weeks before the festival, it was quickly moved to a new site in Bethel, New York. Earlier this year, Positive Spin visited the festival site and the Woodstock Museum at the Bethel Center for the Arts. Touring the Woodstock Museum, we experienced a treasure trove of films, photograph, music, and Woodstock memorabilia. The museum also presents a comprehensive overview of the history of the 1960s. While at the museum, we interviewed Julia Fell, the assistant curator, concerning how the Bethel Center for the Arts is keeping the spirit of Woodstock alive while serving the needs of the present-day community. We've just been through this amazing exhibit, or exhibits, and I am just wondering, how did this all happen? I mean, how did the field, be preserved like that? And how were you able to create this wonderful, wonderful facility and these exhibits?
Well, it's a long story. It's a story 52 years in the making right now as of 2021. And it all started back in 1969 with the original Woodstock Music and Art Fair. And as soon as that event took place, it changed America. It changed a whole generation. And from that point on, there were 450,000 people and more who were committed to preserving the memory of Woodstock. As early as 1970, there were people gathering here informally to have reunion concerts. And although the land that we sit on currently went through various different private ownerships in that time, there were always people gathering here to celebrate Woodstock. Eventually, in the 1990s, the property was purchased by the Gary Foundation, and that is a foundation that currently still owns the property and developed it into Bethel Woods Center for the Arts, including the museum at Bethel Woods. The intention that Mr. Alan Gary had when he and his foundation purchased the land was to use the spirit of Woodstock and the history of musical performance on this site to help reinvigorate Sullivan County, which in the past 50 years or so has become one of the more depressed counties in New York State. It's also his home county. So he wanted to do something for his home, the place where he grew up. And he recognized the opportunity of Woodstock to help make that change. So in 2006, we officially opened our concert pavilion site. It is one of the largest outdoor concert pavilions in the country. It holds 16,000 people at full capacity. And we also opened the museum at Bethel Woods here in 2008. So we've been going for 15 years now as a concert pavilion, and we'll be going on 15 years as a museum in a few years' time.
That's amazing, but what also is amazing to me is that while you're preserving the past, you're inviting the local community, the children, artworks, special events. It's almost like, the next generation is, being given the torch in a certain way that's appropriate for them, not to relive the past, but that you have all these programs. Can you talk a little bit about some of these programs?
Absolutely. The Bethel Woods Center for the Arts has a lot of different programming. We have programming that is hosted by the museum here, especially in 2019 for the 50th anniversary of Woodstock. We saw a big resurgence in our programming, such as panels, live videos, things of that sort. We also offer a lot of educational programming. We have camps for children that focus on music and theater and performance. We have adult workshops for things like photography, and lots of special experiences like film festivals.
So where do you see the center 50 years from now?
Oh, that's a big question, and I can't say for all of the other wonderful things that go on here at Bethel Woods Center for the Arts, but I can say about what us as part of the museum staff have been working on. And we did have to take a step back after our 50th anniversary in 2019 and say, okay, what's our legacy for the next 50 years? So we are very conscious of this, that we have a legacy. And funnily enough, right around the time we were taking that step back, the COVID-19 pandemic hit. And we went into our lockdown in late March of 2020. So it was a tough time, but we used that time of having to change our perspective to really think about what we were going to do to preserve that legacy. And so one of the biggest projects that we're currently working on, and part of the reason that I've gotten to know you, is our oral history initiative. So we've recognized that the stories of Woodstock, and Woodstock is not one story, but 450,000 individual stories, we realize those are a finite resource. And we are uniquely positioned to be the one to collect those stories. And we need to be doing it now, before they slip away, because in 50 years, chances are there will be nobody from the original Woodstock. However, their children and grandchildren will still be here wondering about what happened. And we want to do our best to provide those stories for those generations yet to come.
Well, thank you very much. I really appreciate it. I appreciate being part of the program with the oral history. I'll tell you, so many memories going through the museum today. So many times tearing up, just knowing that the inspiration for my whole life's work began here on this site, and now I'm back here. While walking the field where the festival took place and taking a photo with the Woodstock Memorial, it brought back memories of my days experiencing the magic of the Woodstock Festival and how it changed my life. I had been studying to be a history teacher. However, after attending the festival, my life took a dramatic turn and I became a concert producer, working with some of the biggest stars in the music industry, like Jefferson Starship, The Grateful Dead, Carlos Santana, Stevie Wonder, Dionne Warwick, Alanis Morissette, and many more.
Woodstock, 52 years later, that's the hell that it 450,000 people. I couldn't believe it.
It's like nothing I ever imagined in my life. And there was a stage, and the music, it was magic, it was love, it was peace. This led to my writing a #1 best-selling book on Amazon, entitled You Can Escape the Box and Live a Life of Miracles, Lessons from a Woodstock Journey.
And I just can't stay away.
Yes, definitely come visit us. We are here in Bethel, New York, the site of the original 1969 Woodstock Music and Art Fair. We are open April through December every year. Our hours are 10 to 5 every day, 7 days a week. It's a wonderful place to come. Our exhibits are exciting and our grounds are nothing less than iconic. So please do come give us a visit. Oh, our website is www.bethelwoodscenter.org.
I'm home at last.
Lisa Lohr is an accomplished photographer, writer, filmmaker, and icon of the 1960s. She is best known for her photographic chronicles of the counterculture of that time. Positive Spin was invited to Lisa Lohr's home in Santa Fe, New Mexico for an intimate interview concerning the key roles she played in the Woodstock Festival. So, could you please tell our audience a little bit about the hog farm, how it was created, what was the purpose of the hog farm?
Well, in 1964, I think it was, Hugh Romney and Bonnie Jean were living in the Valley in LA. And they were renting this house, and the Ken Kesey bus came by, and they were on their way to Mexico to find Ken Kesey. Just at that point, the fellow up the hill who had a hog farm had a heart attack, and he needed help slopping the hogs. So the entire group of them moved up to the top of the hill where all the hogs were, built little shacks and lived in buses and lived there. Saturday, I think they would have an event. One was Tiny Tim singing, and then they had a hog rodeo where you painted the pigs and rode them in the rodeo. So they did that, and all these people would come up. They did these shows. But that's when Stan Goldstein asked the whole hog farm if they would come to this musical concert in New York and help out with security. Well, not security at that point, it was trip tents, medical tents. We said yes. They sent a jumbo jet for us. 95 of us got aboard that airplane, including teepee poles and teepees, flew to JFK, where we were met by the press saying, we hear you're security, and Wavy Gravy said, they made us the cops. Okay, well, do you feel secure? They said yes, and they says, well, it must be working. Bought stainless steel bowls, pots, cleavers, onion cutters, 35 trash bag cans, plastic trash cans to mix the food in and to put the cut up food in, because you have to think of being a mass production. It wasn't just a barbecue dinner, it was a mass production. And we were feeding 75,000 a day. I got up on the stage and I said, if you're hungry, I said, you can come over to the hog farm and we'll feed you over there. So I got up and said that, but nobody ever filmed it. And they did, they trickled over us. But soon after that, those lines there were 10 lines, people waiting in lines for the food. But it was great to be recognized for having fed 200,000 people. I mean, some people get recognized for a picture or movie or acting or whatever, right, something they did. But this was being recognized for cooking food, which I thought was fantastic. This is Joe Baez backstage at Woodstock. So that's where we held court and fed everybody and prepared the food and hung out. And then we'd go over to the main stage. This was more fun for a lot of people. This is the bus we've had since 1967. Bus from that era. And this is actually a 1946 Chevy flatbed that was made into a mobile home, one of the first mobile homes. And an artist did it in Taos, and then he drove around the country for 4 years with his 2 kids and his wife painting. And they said $150, and he said, "Here you go," and he paid for it, and we had a home.
I'll bet, yeah.
It's got a kitchen in it, it's got oven, icebox, counters, beds, couches. It's fantastic.
You have been a major chronicler since of just the whole, I mean, from Bob Dylan to the Haight-Ashbury, to the first human being, to Woodstock.
64, 65.
You know, and
Beatles.
That's amazing. How did that happen for you? I mean, what was the spark that got you to do that?
My father was a 16 millimeter man. He gave me a brownie, and I started documenting my life. And I was taking photography at College of Marin and San Francisco City College. I took 2 courses. But I was already really good at capturing moments. I was not afraid. Just get in there with that camera and shoot it. I'm still not afraid. So my heroes are Bob Dylan, because I was able to get a career from having those great pictures of him, and John Paul DeGioia. So important about Woodstock is that you put all those people together, 400, 500,000, plus I think there's probably 2 million that were on their way. Nobody fought, nobody hurt each other, nobody raped, he got into fights. And Joan Baez said, "This is your neighbor to your left and your neighbor to your right." And so that became the Woodstock generation. And that's what we wish the world could be like. It's just wonderful. It's very exciting, because that was a great moment in history.
My history as a concert and event producer spanned from 1969 to 1997, culminated in being asked by Chet Helms, aka the father of the Summer of Love, to be a producer for the Summer of Love 30th anniversary in San Francisco. In the following segment, we'll see a presentation from the 30th anniversary, the last major concert where I served as a producer before creating the first Positive Spin television program.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the 30th anniversary of the Summer of Love.
Well, God has been good to us, as you can see. He gave us a wonderful, beautiful, glorious day on the planet for our event. It's been wonderful.
Summer of love without words.
Okay, the essence of the Summer of Love. Groovy! Bummer!
Wow!
Wow. Yeah?
He doesn't know. He was stuck in his submarine off the Gulf of Tonkin. He don't know.
I read Time magazine.
Namaste. Remember what it is. Today is Christopher Columbus was lost day. And we're proclaiming this Indigenous Day.
We have a lost parent, actually child. Susanna J. Your mother, Charity, is looking for you.
Hi, well, we're really glad the news got out about the food bank. Apparently people have been hearing about it on the internet, through radio announcements, which Willie Brown so graciously got involved with, and also through The Guardian and other newspapers. So we're having a really nice response today. Thanks for your support of the food bank.
Well, we're about halfway through the day now. We got a big crowd out there, got a beautiful day. The police say there have been 0 incidents so far, and that's wonderful. They're having a good time.
This event, I would say, hey, it just shows people how it was and how it can be.
But I'm really happy to be here today and to relive the spirit of kind of happiness and love and joy that people felt. The upside of the 60s. It wasn't all tragedy. It was the beginning of a new consciousness, and the 20-year-olds and the teenagers of today, they're the ones that are going to carry it out, and I believe in them totally. I really do.
Hello, I'm Floyd Red Crow Westerman, and I'm here at the Summer of Love Festival. In a sense, it begins and ends many of the feelings and efforts of a lot of people. In a sense, I think we begin the consciousness toward abolishing nuclear weapons.
Pray and work for nuclear disarmament and world peace.
Excuse me, I just learned that what's going to happen. We're going to close at 6 o'clock. We get kicked out of here at 6. Willie Brown was adamant about 6 o'clock, that son of a gun. So we're taking the whole thing to the beach. And what we need is to get all the people together here, 30,000, pick up the stage and take it to the beach. All in one thing, and we can just continue the party there. So I got to go around and tell everybody. So we're going to the beach, 6 o'clock.
An estimated 35,000 people turned out for a festival celebrating the 30th anniversary of the so-called Summer of Love. Members of Jefferson Starship and the Grateful Dead performed out there. One concert goer called it a massive flashback. The event also attracted political groups and environmental activists, and it doubled as a benefit for the San Francisco Food Bank, which collected donations of canned goods and got a lot of them apparently.
I'm sorry I missed that when it first happened. I'm sorry to say I wasn't too young.
These tropical waters are home to a stunning
I'm going to live out loud, on purpose, for a purpose.
I want you to live this life consciously, not unconsciously.
That it was great to be recognized.
Positive spin. We now present personal messages of peace from supporters of Unity Foundation.
So what does peace mean to you, or why is it important?
Peace. What does peace mean to me? I mean, I think if I can sum it up in one word, I would say love. Peace is just it's love. It's something that we can all go around and feel safe and be content, and be happy with our lives, and help one another, and and respect one another, and can we all just get along? I mean, I know this is a song, but man, I think that peace is very important in the world, man. We're all different in our own ways, and whether it's religion, whether it's color, whether it's race, whatever you name it, and if we can all just get along and and understand one another, that we're all different and love one another, this place will just be a lot better, man. Be a lot better, and a lot safer for everyone.
Wow. That's great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for watching Positive Spin. This show is made possible through the generosity of the Patty and Jack Wright Foundation. Watch and subscribe to our previous episodes on YouTube. And please, like us on Facebook. Follow us on Free Speech TV, Roku, Sling TV, DirecTV, Dish Network, and Apple TV. I'm Bill McCarthy. Stay safe and healthy, and remember, you can create your own positive news.